Good morning, all. All right, so today I want to try another box and whisker plot. I'm going to go through slow again, and we're going to look at all the different things. And hopefully by the end of this video, you have a better understanding of exactly what's going on here and how we take a data set and graph it visually. So I want you to remember that a box plot looks a little something like this. Okay, here is my minimum data value. Here is my maximum. Here is the median. This is quartile 1, and this is quartile 3. Okay? I want you to remember that the median is exactly that. It's the median of the data set. The minimum is the smallest value. The maximum is the largest. Quartile 1 is the median of the lower half of the data set. Quartile 3 is the median of the upper data set. Okay, so given the following shoe sizes, draw a box and whisker plot. Step 1, put the data in order from highest to lowest. This should be switched. This should say lowest to highest. I apologize for that mistake. But we're going to put the data in order from lowest to highest. So we've done this many, many times. The lowest data point I have, or data value, is 5.5, then 6.5, then I have a 7, I have 1, 2, 3 eighths, 1, 2, 3, I have a 9, I have 2 tens, and I have 2 11s. Okay, so there is my data set in order from lowest to highest. I apologize for that mistake. Okay, now that I have my data set in order from lowest to highest, it's very easy to find the median of the data set. Remember, the median is either the middle number or the average of the middle two numbers. The best way to figure that out is to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Because I have an odd number of data values, I will have a single number in the middle of the data set, which represents the median. And remember, it's very easy to figure out which number is the median by crossing off numbers from the left to the right, back and forth, until you are left with either a single number or two numbers. In this case, it's a single number. So my median is 8, which means that my quartile 2 is 8. Remember, this is an important value. That value is going to go right there. So this is an 8. Okay, so step 3, find the median of the lower half of the data. So now that I have found the median, the lower half of my data is right here. And the upper half of my data is right there. And just so we're clear, there will be an equal number of data values in the lower half as in the upper half. To exemplify this, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the lower half, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the upper half. Okay? So now, in order to find the median of the lower half, I have to cross off numbers from the left to the right until I'm left with either a single number or two numbers that I need to take the average of. Because I have an odd number of data values in the lower data set, The number in the middle of the lower data set is my quartile 1. So Q1 equals 7. I'm going to circle that because it's an important piece of information. And I'm going to write it up here. This will be 7. Now, in order to find quartile 3, I need to find the median of the upper half of the data. So, remember, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 values. That means that I need to cross off 1 on either side until I'm left with a single value, which is 10. So then I will write Q3 equals 10. Again, that's an important value. That's this value right here. Now, step 5, find the lowest and highest data value. So I'm looking for a minimum and a maximum. The minimum will be the smallest value, which is 5.5. And the maximum will be the largest value, which is 11. So my minimum is 5.5 and my maximum is 11. Again, these are both very important pieces of information because they will denote my whiskers. So 5.5 and 11. Now I have all the data I need to graph the box and whisker plot. I know that my minimum is 5.5, so I think it's smart that we start with 5. I know that my maximum is 11, so I feel like we should end with 11. So that means I need to go 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and there's my 11. Now, if it's easier for you, you can label these numbers. And what I want to point out is that my number line is different every time I graph a box and whisker plot. Sometimes the numbers will be very large, or I will have a large range. So I could go from something like 5 to 20. In that case, I would change the values from like going 1 at a time to maybe 2 at a time. As we move forward through graphing box and whisker plots, I will be demonstrating this. You're going to have to change the way that you draw out your number lines based on the total range of your values and the size of your data values. In this case, we have a very simple example with very small numbers that only go from about 5 to 11. So this one is very easy to draw out. Now, looking at my data up here, I know that I need to have a line at 5.5 as that is the smallest value. So going back down, I'm going to go to 5.5 and put a nice big whisker right there. I also know that my max value is 11 and that I need to put another whisker at 11. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to put another whisker right there. There's my whiskers. Now all I need to do is draw the first quartile line, the third quartile line, and the median line. Well, my first quartile line is right here. It's 7. So I know I'm going to put a line at 7. My third quartile line is 10. So I know I'm going to put a line at 10. And then my median is up here. It's quartile 2, and that is 8. So I'm going to put a line at 8. So I'm going to draw a line here, which represents the base of the box, and this line represents the top of the box. And then I'm just going to fill in my whiskers. And there is the box and whisker plot for this data set. Okay, I hope that this example clarifies some of your questions, and I hope that by seeing a simple example like this, that it's a little easier to see what we're doing and how we're doing it. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate to ask them in the Google Classroom or on Remind. There will be a bell ringer associated with this lesson and a homework assignment. Well, that's it for today, guys. Just remember, please stay safe.